Get a little bit of light in here. So, sorry guys, trying to get a little bit more light in here. Hello, welcome to Minnesota. It is August 19th. It's really not cold outside. I've just had the air conditioner going and I got chilled a little bit, so that's why I have a hoodie on. But welcome to my channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Kathy. I live in West Central Minnesota. I'm in Zone 3 gardening, and I focus a lot on what my life is like in Minnesota as a single woman, getting kind of later in life, and my garden, the things we do to contend with winter and all this other kind of stuff. So right now it's summer though, and we can enjoy all the stuff coming from the garden. So I see somebody's on here. See who came on first this time. I'd offer you a dilly bar, but I think it would be melted by the time it got there. Especially if you're in a warm weather place right now. So I know there's always a delay. I think the average is about 30 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully I've got an external drive plugged in right now, so hopefully that's not going to delay things more. But anyway, you guys, it's summertime yet, and I just thank you for being part of my channel. Thank you for coming and spending this time with me. I really appreciate it. So Katie, you're the first one. Hello, how are you? Thank you for coming. Sorry, I gotta scoot my chair up a little bit. It's kind of old and creaky. But how are you today, Katie? Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Doing pretty well. It's been a crazy week. So yes, the weather is beautiful today. We're talking what, 80 degrees and dry and sunny. It's been beautiful. So sorry, I gotta turn my phone off here. Yeah, it's been a busy week. As you know, Katie too, but my uncle, who's my godfather, passed away, and so I'm gonna have to go up near Duluth for his funeral, heading out tomorrow. And so just kind of being all over the place, and then getting with my family who's near Minneapolis and different things like that. So stripping and re-waxing floors, that is a job. I totally get that. I've done that before too. So yeah, I know how that is. So thank you so much. He lived a long, long life, but you know, it's still hard on my cousins, especially. You know, they're losing a husband and dad, so I'm going up there to be with them and all that. So hey, Pete's Little Homestead, thanks for coming. Really appreciate that. So anyway, it was such a beautiful day. It's gonna be hard to get people in here at this hour probably, but I am so grateful for the two of you being here, and do a little show and tell here before others get here, and I'll show it again. But these are a couple of my tomatoes. These things are huge. Look at how big they are. Oh my goodness. I don't remember if it's this one that I weighed or another one, but it was 20 ounces. So, you know, this one's easily a pound, and it's just been amazing. So hi, Julie, how are you? Thanks for coming. Yeah, so far I've got about a dozen of these out of the garden, and there's a whole bunch more yet coming out there. So I'm pretty excited about it. Pretty excited. So hopefully I'll be able to put up a lot of sauce with that. It'll be really good. Yeah, Katie, it's like, yeah, where's everybody? I think they're just yep. It's kind of that time. that the weather is cooling down enough where they're able to ripen well. We're getting a little bit longer nights now, so that they're not in the sun so much, and that's why we call them nightshades, because at night that's where they do their ripening and doing a lot of their growing. They need the sun for all of the other elements and everything, but they like that growing time when it's a little bit cooler. I went to my chiropractor today, and he asked me, because he knows I garden, and I've been seeing him for like 12 years or something. But so he said, "So how are your tomatoes doing?" I said, "Great." And I showed him a picture, and he's like, "You're the only one." He said, "Everybody else I asked to, they're like, oh, my tomatoes are terrible. Nothing's happening with them." He said, "What are you doing?" It's like, well, I picked up a lot of things from other YouTubers this year. So I was telling him about what Jess does with putting the egg in the cavity, just burying them really deep, because I buried them like 12 inches and put an egg down there and cracked it so it could get that extra calcium and nutrients. And then, of course, staking them, fertilizing them, continuing to clip off any suckers, that type of thing. Also, I don't know if you guys have seen Luke's at MI Gardener's video on what he does to help the flowers, the blossoms, end up pollinating, because said kind of a standard thing for tomato plants is only about 20% of the blossoms actually end up fruiting, and that's a pretty standard thing. Well, especially up here in the north, where we only got a short season and we want to get as much as we can out of those tomatoes. Luke had heard about this one little trick, and he tried it for like 3 months or something. Then he finally came out with a video a couple weeks ago or 3 weeks ago or something, saying, yes, this did work. They got 100% success with it. And what it is taking an electric toothbrush and say this is the blossom, and you got the stem right above the blossom, and you take the electric toothbrush and just rest it on that part of the on the stem above the blossom for like 5 seconds, and just let it vibrate. And what it does is it shakes like all the pollen and it fertilizes the flower inside there, because the bees aren't getting around to it and everything. And so I'm starting to get a lot more fruit on my plants from doing that, and it was like amazing. So it'd be great. So Pete, you said you had one pink ox heart that weighed 1.4 pounds. Wow. I have heard that is a fantastic tomato to grow. Maybe I'll try that next year. I have not grown those before, but I've heard a lot of people loving that one. So, hey, Thrifty VG, hello. How are you doing? How's it out in Rhode Island? Are you getting some cool breezes off the ocean, or is it hot there for you? Coffee grounds around them that works well too. And my plants right now are about 7 feet tall, the 6 to 7 feet, right in that range. And it's, I have to either clip them off at the top or try to figure out how to attach more posts to them. So anyway, so you have a thunder and lightning storm. Oh, well, I'm hoping that you need the rain, so that'll be good. And the lightning is great for our the rainwater that comes down, because that energizes the water with nutrients, just like nitrogen. It just instantly infuses that, and so we get nitrogen down with the rainwater, which is like super. That's what we need, and that's what our plants need. So hopefully it's you kind of want to hit that balance where the thunder and lightning is not damaging, but it's still going to provide what we need. So oh, Julie, oh my goodness, you are dry. Oof. Here where I am, I mean, other parts of Minnesota had rain pretty well all summer, but we went through a stretch of almost 4 weeks where we didn't have any rain. So now we had a couple good rains this weekend, which helped. Do you have a system, Julie, of trying to save the rain so that you can use some of that, or what? But lightning storms, yeah, they're really cool. They are neat. So anyway, yeah, I know, Katie, you're getting a lot more than we are here. So I do have a video that I've just finished. I was trying to get that out last week, but life just got in the way. And so I apologize for not getting one out this last week to everybody. But hoping that I can get 2 out, but having to go to Duluth for the funeral and everything else might inhibit that a little bit. But I should be able to get one out. So I just finished editing it, so I'll have to load it and everything, and hopefully maybe tomorrow morning that can go out. So, oh, that's right. That's right, Julie. Yeah, California. I forgot about that. That's so hard. I just can't conceive of that decision, that mentality of like, you can't collect rain that comes from the sky. That's natural. I mean, it's just, it's crazy. But you know what they want to do? They want to drain the Great Lakes so that they can have rain there or use our water. And it's like, just use what comes down. I know, it's nuts. So, so anyway, my video is on canning green beans. So it's a longer video. It's almost half an hour. So that's why it's taken me a little bit to get edited and get taken care of and get going. Actually, I still even have my external drive plugged into my computer right now. I don't want to unplug that in the middle of the process. So, so anyway. I like that, Julie. That'll be good. We'll have to, when that day comes, let us know. We'll send you some ruby red slippers, right? Some glass slippers. Oh, that is just nuts, isn't it? It's crazy. Yeah, I think we're starting to head into our kind of our pre-fall pattern of weather. You know, in July we have our intense heat, you know, our 100-degree stuff going on, and the humidity and everything else. So right now we're starting to get little cooler nights. Like it's been in the 50s at night, even though we're in the 80s today. It still is drier, and then it kind of is going up and down, and that's what it'll do for a while, for 2-3 months. It will fluctuate a lot before it settles into another pattern. And it's just kind of the way it is for us here in the middle of the continent. We have to wait for all the other weather patterns throughout the continent to shift and kind of get into a definite pattern and to kind of settle in there, and then our patterns to, you know, evens out and everything. So, but I kind of call this a pre-fall. Fall is like my favorite time. Oh, I just love it. The colors, the crisp nights, and the days that are in the 60s and 70s and dry, and the skies are so blue because of the angle of the sun and everything. So it's just incredibly beautiful. The only thing that I miss are the days being a little bit longer. You know, because all of a sudden it's starting to get dark at, you know, 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock or something. And it's like, oh, I like it staying light until 8:30 or 9. It's kind of nice. But I don't know, Katie, do you like fall time too here? I mean, I just absolutely love it. So anyway, there's, it's nuts. Next door to me, I've got an old abandoned church that has been home to, of course, bats and squirrels and birds and all kinds of things in there, because there are windows that are out, there are holes in the roof, all kinds of things. So Yeah, Katie, thanks. I totally agree. So anyway, for the number of years, the barn swallows have taken up residence in there, and so if anybody knows anything about barn swallows, make they are one of the messiest birds. Small birds. I mean, geese are messy birds too, but these barn swallows, they are so messy. They they build nests that are out of mud, and then they sit on the edge of that nest and they just poop everywhere. I mean, they just make a mess. They don't, and they're like constantly pooping because I don't know how much they're eating, but they have this really horrible screech. They're not like a beautiful songbird or anything like this. They just screech, and they flock and fly and swoop all over, and they're very aggressive birds. Like even when they're next door, way up in the church in their nest, and if I'm out in the garden or hanging clothes on the line, they will leave their place and come out and kind of dive bomb me is what I call it. They kind of attack in the way, but if I'm and it's just annoying. So especially there's a couple times when it's really, really bad. One, it's when they are building their nests, and then when they have their young has hatched. So they've got their little babies there. But right now they are flocking to go south and to leave for this. And Julie, you would probably know too, in Southern California, there's, I believe it's Cupertino, I think. It's a town there that they actually have like a whole citywide thing there of the swallows, because they come and flock there and then they leave around mid-March or so. So, which is supposed to be like St. Joseph's feast day or something like that. And so there's actually a mission down there that has a lot of information and stuff on the swallows. So anyway, right now they're starting to flock. So I've got a power line going from the side of my house to the power line pole. It goes along the street and everything. And they've been sitting on that and pooping all over my back step, all over in my garden and everything else like that. Well, I took my owl statue and I put it up on a higher stake so they could see it. Well, that didn't seem to really scare them this time, I guess. I don't know. I went out there to try to shoo them away, and they started trying to attack me. And they fly to within about a foot of my head. And they're screeching and flying and coming down there. So I went out for like 10 seconds to try to pick a couple things and ran back in. And I had 5 of them just chasing me. One almost flew in through my back door. And it got within like 6 inches of the door. And I was like, ah. So I'm hoping that they leave really soon so that I can get out in my garden, because I've got stuff I have to do out there. So, all right, get caught up on the chat here. So, Thrifty VG says a lot of states are having problems with rain catchment. You actually have to call your city hall and find out if it's better than getting a fine. I don't understand why. I mean, if you're getting it off of your roof, is it because it's not soaking? Excuse me, my throat's dry. Is it because it's not soaking down into the ground to get down into the aquifer? If they figure if too many people are catching it, that it's drying up the aquifers or something. So I'm wondering. Oh, you're up in the mountains, Julie. Oh, I didn't know that. That's so cool. Hey, Connie. Hi, how are you doing? Thanks for coming. I know it's crazy, the birds. They are nuts. So you've got a 5-minute leg. Oh, I know you said leg, but I think you meant leg right there. It's like, wow, that is slow. I'm going to see if I'm going to try to disconnect my external drive and see if that will help here. Because sometimes that slows up my computer, so see if that helps. So, Thrifty VG, you said you've actually seen not all the trees, but some of them are starting to turn fall colors and dropping their leaves. You know what? I have seen a few, and I don't know what breed of trees or whatever you call it. But there are some that are starting to get little patches here and there of like yellow, and different things like that. And I did see even one maple that had like a streak of the orange and red starting. So I know mid-August, and we're like, what's so crazy is that we didn't even get leaves on our trees until almost the end of May. So here it is 2.5 months later, and they're already turning. It's too fast. Just too fast for me. And it's like, I want a little bit longer summer, but I don't know. We got to deal with what we have here and what we take. So I know, Katie, I'm not ready either. I'm not ready one bit. So have you guys seen any birds flocking at all too? I know usually the small ones, like the wrens and everything, start around this time of year. This last week, I've seen them in the garden, not really eating my plants or anything like that, but looking for seeds and I don't know, maybe worms, but I think they're more the seeds and the little pellet birds and stuff like that. But yeah, the little ones start flocking at this point in time. You drive down the county roads and you see them sitting all along the on the power lines and everything, the high line poles, and just just all lined up in a row. And then they fly off and they're in the fields and everything else. So I know, for those of you who live right in the city, I don't know, you might not notice that as much and as easily, but then, yeah, all the signs of, that's kind of why I call it pre-fall signs that are happening, pre-fall weather. Some other signs are the squirrels starting to get busier out there. They're starting to gather nuts and all the stuff they do and then bury them, and they'll dig holes probably about this deep into the ground and then try to bury a nut in there. I think that's what they're going to be able to get in the middle of winter. So I don't know. It's like, you're not going to find a dude under 3 feet of snow, So anyway, yeah, it's kind of crazy. So one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight, and sorry if it's going to be a little bit more serious. I didn't want it to be, but I think it's something that needs to be informative. And I try to do that in bringing, squirrels are getting chubbier. Yep, they're getting ready for winter. Their activity, all of nature's activity, really, the squirrels, the little fuzzy caterpillars, the beavers, all the different animals that are out there. You watch their patterns and how they are preparing, because they've been given an instinct by God to know when they need to prepare for something, for a heavier winter, a colder winter, or a lighter winter, or whatever. But that's kind of one of the reasons I really like the seasons, because we've got so much change here going on. And so anyway, it's kind of fun to watch them, see what they're doing, and finding patterns in there. So anyway, 3 years ago, in September, it was March 2016, there was a report that came out to the FDA stating that antibacterial products, from soaps to sprays and wipes to creams and everything, from the supermarket to the hardware store, the promises of germ-free hands and surfaces, and all that kind of stuff, they they were promising that this was going to be good for us and it was all super healthy. And you know that there's been a real high kick on germs and doing all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you remember that. Um, for one thing, it's like fear sells, and marketers know that. So it's like put the fear in people. It's like, oh my gosh, all these germs, you know, and everything. Okay, so which is good. We need to keep clean. We need to do all that kind of stuff. So, hey, Alicia, how are you doing? Thanks for coming. I know the cool air in the colors is just so beautiful. Um, one of the antibacterial chemicals. There are 23 different ones that this particular report came out on. This says that they wanted to watch. The FDA needed to watch, but one in particular is called triclosan, and I'll type it out here so you guys know what that looks like. Triclosan. There it is. And I heard about it at that time, and I started seeing it and everything. They first said that it was in like our hand soaps and everything to make them antibacterial. And I was like, okay. Then we started hearing about more and more things. It's in toothpaste because, we need to get antibacterial to help our gums and different things like that. Then they put it in plastic. They put it in babies' toys and kids' toys and all this other kind of stuff too, because people weren't cleaning things well enough to keep from getting other people sick. So they had to put this in the products themselves. Let me see if I can find a list here. I didn't have time to highlight my stuff, so I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. So anyway, yeah, anyway, in all these different products, they wanted to. Oh, here we go. Toothpaste, soaps, detergents. So our laundry soap and everything, toys, and surgical cleaning treatments. So yes, we want to make sure that bad bacteria is not floating around and everything. But triclosan, they came out finding out that it is a very, very harmful chemical. The danger is, first of all, it's an endocrine disruptor. So anybody that deals with any type of hormone functions, for our immune system, our reproductive systems, our thyroid, all these kind of things. Triclosan disrupts that, and it's very, very damaging to us. Mayo Clinic research from 2017 shows that it alters hormone regulation in animals. It can also contribute to the development of antibiotic-resistant germs. So trying to, you know how they say that using antibiotics a lot and stuff like that, that you become immune to certain ones, and then you have to get more and more stronger antibiotics in order for it to take an effect. So that's kind of what this is doing in the way of germ killing type of things. Batman Bear, you are the knight. Oh, thanks. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it is interesting, and it can be harmful. The Mayo Clinic also says harmful to the immune system. When you use a product containing triclosan, you can absorb a small amount through your skin or your mouth, like toothpaste. A large 2008 study, which was designed to assess exposure to triclosan in a representative sample of American children and adults, found triclosan in the urine of nearly 75% of those tested. So there, it's in your system. It's not just something you use that stays outside. So yeah, it specifically um, disturbs your thyroid, testosterone, estrogen regulation. It can create a host of issues, including early puberty, poor, poor sperm quality, infertility, obesity, and cancer. It's also showed that it can lead to impaired learning and memory. It can exacerbate allergies and weaken muscle function. The impacts of prolonged exposure during fetal development, infancy, and childhood can be particularly severe, resulting in permanent damage. Um, so it's in antimicrobial chemicals. I mean, in like I said, in our hand soaps and all kinds of things. So there were a number of companies that took it off the shelf. They redesigned um, their products, like soft soap. Some of theirs had, especially I think, like they had an orange one that was said antibacterial soap, that type of thing. I think they actually took that off the shelf. I have not seen it for a long time. Um, but anyway, if you look at some of their other products, that's not in there anymore. So really look at in things for of triclosan. Colgate toothpaste has it in there. They said that they were going to remove that back in 2017, but then they kind of backpedaled and decided not to. Um, so, um, yeah, so triclosan will still be permitted in products like Colgate toothpaste due to the company's successful and expensive 1997 effort to work around the regular process to get FDA approval. Big surprise, right? Um, so while the toothpaste might be effective and even recommended for very extreme cases of gingivitis, it's arguably more dangerous than hand soap because of the mouth's greater ability to absorb toxins. Um, in fact, a study showed that people who brushed their teeth with Colgate Total had more than 5 times as much triclosan in their urine than people who didn't. So, triclosan is a chemical that goes back to the 1960s. Let's see if I can find that one. It was first made as a pesticide in the 1960s, but they've decided that, oh, that can be effective for killing germs and killing all this other kind of stuff because it killed everything out in the fields. And so let's kill people and ruin their reproductive systems and their hormones and everything else going on. So anyway, long and short of it is, guys, just watch the ingredients in your products, and if you can avoid triclosan at all costs, try to do that. So that would be really, really helpful for you, for your children, for any of your loved ones or anything. So yeah, organic toothpaste. So, oh, you're welcome, Mary. I really, really appreciate that. There's an interference with my mic. Okay, is it not? Oh, is it the paper that was interfering? Sorry. Can you hear me okay now? So thank you, JB. Hello to you. Alicia, you said that you read that organic foods are cheap to grow. They should also be sold for decent prices. Right. No, I agree. So thanks, Oregon Homestead. I appreciate that. Hey, Dave. Hello. Thanks for coming. It's okay. You just missed the bulk of my spiel tonight, but that's okay. You can go back and watch it. Well, I've got a few minutes, but we were talking about triclosan in everything, and it's one of the reasons I didn't put it up as my subject on my for my video and everything, is because it's such a big thing, and there's such big pharmas and big companies out there that are fighting all that. I just don't want to be on their radar, if you get what I mean. So That's what you did. Okay. Well, Connie, good. The PWBF, well, good. So that's going to make it so much easier for people to say your name. That's great. So, anyway, yeah, that's. Does anybody know of any other particular um, chemicals like triclosan that's really popular that they're trying to keep hidden in there, that are also dangerous for us, that are very common? Also, for like toothpaste and like any antibacterial soaps or anything like that, what home remedies have you come up with? I would love to get a conversation going like that on here. I'd like to find out what you're using, what you make, um, if there's something else that you buy. So, yeah, Mary, you're right. The FDA isn't here for the consumer; it's here for the companies. So, yeah. Hey, Brenda. Hello. I'm sorry I missed you. I'm just kind of flipping back through my chat here. So, hey, Leanna. Hello. Thank you for coming. Hi, Bonnie. Thanks so much. Appreciate you coming too. So Julie, you make your own soap. All of your soaps, or what soaps in particular, and the type of thing. So, Fast Food Nation. Okay, that sounds like a good book, Dave. Thank you for recommending that. So, um, we're talking about um, the toxic long-term effects of triclosan in all of our products, like toothpaste and hand soap, kids' toys. What were some of the other things we said? Um, yeah, detergents, toys, surgical cleaning treatments, all this kind of stuff. And so, and how much of our bodies have just are filled with this triclosan, which it originally was made as a pesticide. And so they figured they could put it in our toothpaste, and they could put it in stuff that babies chew on, and all this kind of stuff. So it's it's not good. And when this came out 3 years ago, I thought, oh, yes, this is going to be great. They'll take it off the shelves. They're going to clean it out for us. And then, other stuff has come in, it's backpedaled, and some companies took it off, but a lot of them didn't. Like, obviously, Colgate did not do that. So, well, Leanna, you are just so far ahead of the game with everybody. That's for sure. Um, so, Katie, you buy organic products, toothpaste and soaps. Oh, yeah. You know what? You start getting allergic to things like that. And um, so Julie says that colors are a root, herb, or clay, no chemicals. That's so fantastic. Um, where do most of you find your products? I mean, do you go to Whole Foods? Do you go to Azure Standard? Do you go to I don't know, get it on Amazon, or what do you do? So, well, thank you, Brenda. Really appreciate that. Yep. Yeah, there's just so much out there that I try to get as much natural and organic myself too, but um, there were another number of things. So, Dr. Bronner's soap, new local store online. Okay. So, what kind of local store does Dr. Bronner's is it carried in? Are we talking like Menards, or Ace Hardware, or just like your local health food store? Yep. Dry skin, oily hair. Yep. Dave, that does come from the chemicals. Yeah. So, Leanna, that would be an excellent thing if you could share like what your recipe is or anything like that. So, and Connie, you use Dr. Bronner's for soaps and toothpaste. Okay. All right. Brenda, it was the plastic. Are you asking for what I had mentioned there, or was it a different thing? So I'm talking about triclosan. Here, I'll type it out again for those of you who are just getting in here. Um, but I don't know, maybe you're talking about something else in there. So Melaleuca, okay. Yeah, that one's good. Urco for your herbs, Amazon. Go through Essential Depot and other place in Canada. The oils, all right. Um, Local Coburns, okay, Dr. Bronner's, or even the local, okay. Coburn's here has that's kind of like a Kroger store. They have really good um, natural and health food section in their stores. It's just fantastic. So that's a good thing to know. Really appreciate that. Bev, you make all the soap that you use. You use coconut oil and soda and add peppermint oil for toothpaste. Okay. Dr. Bronner's at Costco too. Yeah, I know you can get on the internet and just get a gazillion different recipes for all these things, but it's kind of nice to know from people exactly what works and everything else. So, oh, you're welcome, Alicia. Um, Thanks, Katie. That's very sweet of you. Really appreciate that. So, Leanna, you buy your herbs from Mountain Rose Herbs. You mostly grow your own. Okay. I'm trying to head in that direction. This year I grew a lot more herbs than I've had in the past, and so I'm trying to do some of that. Um, it just takes time, and obviously, Leanna, you've been doing it for a long time here, so that's fantastic. Um, you're welcome. Okay. Yes, Julie, it is very important. There's some others. I mean, like Little Bit of Heaven. She does some she does a lot of soap from goat's milk and different things like that, and I'm bit by bit trying to get ingredients and trying to get equipment and things like that, but it's a lot to just jump into all at one time. So okay, Lana, your toothpaste is calcium carbonate, baking soda. I'm writing this down, although you know what, I'm just going to take a screenshot here. That's easier. Okay, I forget about that. Baking soda, water, coconut oil, and then like peppermint or tea tree oil. So, okay. The calcium carbonate, is that, I know that's not baking, or because you already have baking soda, but calcium carbonate, what is that exactly? Um, yeah, the lye is definitely very, very strong. I mean, it was effective, but very strong. And there's other ways, I think. Are there other ways to make soap other than lye, or do we have to have the lye in there? I'm not sure, but again, Little Bits of Heaven. She does that. Anybody follows Jesse James Homestead? Candy was making soap for a little while and showing up. She's so cute. She's got all this equipment, like a full helmet with a face shield and gloves up to her shoulders. I mean, she's just like super safety conscious, and she's very very great with that. So she gives all the hints on how to deal with lye and everything else. So, I know, Leanne, that's the thing, right? It takes time to do all of that, right? Yep, it does. It does take time. So, mm. Yeah, Katie, for you to get unscented soaps, and that's where definitely making your own is going to be fantastic and great. So, that'd be good. So, Alicia, you melt and pour soaps and sell to a local hospital gift shop and online. Oh, that's cool. That's very good. You have to have lye. Okay, Julie, thanks. Um, oh, calcium carbonate is lime. That's what you're talking about. Okay. Used in organic farming. You get food grade lime. Okay. That's good to know. Thanks. And it's good for your teeth. Absolutely. Hey, Nathan, how are you? Thanks for coming. Really appreciate it. And homesteading with the Heberts, thank you. No. Are you in the South, so it'd be A Bear? I just want to double check. Our day is going well, thanks. Uh, so, because I live down in Louisiana, so I know the A Bear is a typical way. No, it is Hebert. Okay, all right, that's good to know. Um, Now Foods creates it. I've seen some on Amazon. You haven't tried it, so okay. Um, Nathan, same old, big, ugly, fat, and sassy. You're just too much. So, um, it is Hebert's Batman Bear. So I said A Bear, but because that's the French pronunciation. And when I was in Louisiana, that's what everybody called him there. There's A Bear. So that's why I was trying to get some clarification there. But he said, no, it's Hebert. So it's Old Home Week here with everybody coming on. I really appreciate it. This is great. Very nice. I ended up coming across, in Minnesota here we have Cub Foods. I don't know if, again, it's kind of like a Kroger and everything. I'm not sure what other states Cub is in, but they're based out of Minneapolis. I know that. So anyway, they had a great sale on Purdue chicken today. And so I bought up a bunch. I mean, I've got like at least 20 pounds of chicken. I got. So I'm going to be canning some meat here. I have it in coolers on ice right now because I don't have room in my freezer for it. But it was like a sale like that, and it's going to be over with by Wednesday, and I'm going to be gone. So anyway, you guys, when you can find good sales on food like that, on meat, and can it up, do it. It's going to be great. So it was. Yeah, it was a really good price for Purdue chicken with no hormones and no additives or anything like that. And so it was $1. I want to say it was $1.99 a pound or something like that. So, which I know it still sounds like a lot, $2 a pound, but when you have to buy chicken that doesn't have any additives or anything like that, because I have a daughter who's highly allergic to any of that kind of stuff, and so end up easily spending $3 or $4 a pound easily. So anyway, it was a good deal. So I bought a bunch. So yeah, chest freezer. I mean, I do have one, but it's full right now. So that's where I have to be careful right now. But oh, you're doing some canning of meat too, Katie. Well, that's good. So that'll be great. Okay, Leanna, that's good. Yep. You'll have your chickens to can there. So Batman and Bear, you've lived in Sin City, and I assume that would be Las Vegas, right? For 5 years, Athens, Georgia, 5 before that. Working in restaurants, bartending, managing. You started school in agronomy. Now you want a homestead. Help. Okay. Where are you living right now? You are a Minnesota native who wants to come back. Yeah, the taxes are high here, but are there any farm jobs you could apply for in northern Minnesota? I have no idea, Batman Bear. You'd have to research the farms that are here and see what's there. If it'd be a dairy farm or what it is that you're looking for. I don't know. I don't know any farmer, or I'm not a farmer, so I don't know all the inside stuff going on around in my area, so I'm not sure what's available. Bev, for laundry soap, you make unscented soap. You get lard from a butcher and render it and make soap. Okay, great. That is a great winter project. Yeah, because, summer is like, oh my goodness, it's like we're outside, having to be outside all the time. So that's really, really, really busy. So, Leanna, you just chop up chickens in parts and freeze it, and you'll be canning chicken broth. Ah, yes. I've got quite a bit of chicken broth right now in the freezer and canned. So I'm good for that right now. I'm sure I'll make some more during the winter. What I want to try too is dehydrating my chicken broth. Wilderstead does that, and then they can break it up into pieces and just store that, and it keeps for a long time. And then just add that to it makes almost like a hard bouillon. Really, is what it does. So I want to try that this winter and get some of that going. It's really when we're preserving and putting food away and prepping in that way, it's really, really, really good to have a diverse food store to go to. Have some things that are dehydrated, have some that are frozen, some that are canned, other things that are, like Thrive Life that's already freeze dried that you can put away. Just a whole bunch of different things, different ways that we can have food so that, if you're relying all on freezer food and the power goes out, especially in the middle of summer, then you could lose everything and ruin everything. So, and same if you're in, let's say, earthquake zones in California. If you're doing tons of canning with jars, well, is there a chance that all the jars could fall and break, and then you lose all of your produce? So, is dehydrating or freeze drying much better there, or keeping things in a freezer? I don't, that's where you have to kind of check your area, different things like that. So Leanna, good, you're a good source for helping Batman Bear there. So yeah, the big egg farms are kind of hard, but thanks, Katie. That's great. The pig farm. So Bev, you also make soap, adding coconut oil and hemp oil to the lard, then essential oils. Okay. I know that there can be some soaps because my daughter is highly allergic to corn and soy and everything. There's soy in like every soap product out there. And so she's had to come up with a lot of her own, just using, coconut oil and baking soda and something else in there. So there are things that can do the job, that can clean it. So, um, oh, Batman Bear, I hear you about having being able to get some property, and for every homesteader, that's kind of their dream and their goal. And yeah. Oh, Julie, you've been thinking about the shaking jars. Oh, bubble wrapping them. Well, that's a good possibility. Store them in boxes with bubble wrap, or I don't know. I know that there's like earthquake proof shelving too, or something that you can make the shelves with slats so that they fit really tight and snug so they don't shake off of there. But I don't know. So yeah, don't use soy oil. That's hard to say. Yeah, don't use soy oil, and nothing GMO. Exactly. So Batman Bear, that's cute. Seek joy, not soy. Yeah. Um, that's very good. So hold on a second. Thanks. I needed that. um, so anyway, we've got a couple minutes left here, but yeah, I just kind of, are there any subjects that you guys want me to research and talk about in the weeks to come? I sometimes I don't even know until like a couple hours before my live what I'm actually going to talk about. I keep praying about it. It's like, Lord, what am I supposed to do? But I want to try to find things that are just like either totally unknown or off the wall or something like that. I mean, like last week we talked about the dog days of summer. It's like nobody talks about those anymore, and it's like, where does that come from? All that kind of stuff. So I thought that was kind of fun and interesting. But so it's things for me to learn too. I can learn more about them. All that kind of stuff. So if there's anything that you guys want to find out, I'd be more than happy to use my live show for sharing that, for researching and doing like a little teaching thing here and doing that. So Indian summer, okay. Well, thanks. I'm glad you like the dog days. That was good. Um, it was fun. I was thinking about doing. Thanks, Katie. I really appreciate that, and Leanna. That's good. So Indian summer. I was thinking about like the harvest moon, but I think a lot of people kind of know about that, and what that is and all that kind of stuff. But we had a harvest moon this last week. It was gorgeous. Oh my goodness. And I caught it just as it was rising, and it was beautiful. So, all right. So Bev, you said that you make soap for your granddaughter. You add essential oils. It's the same as purification from Young Living. She says she hasn't had any acne since using it. Is that like a body soap, a face soap, that type of thing? Or is that more of a shampoo? So that would be interesting. So, yeah, Dave, I was thinking, some of these topics like things that the old timers would talk about that we really don't even know about anymore. Because that's what so much of homesteading is, trying to reclaim the knowledge, the skills, everything from, what it was 50, 100, 200 years ago that we can use and do that. And if there's all these terms that, it's like, yeah, we can learn how to plant, how to garden, how to, raise chickens, how to do these kind of things, make soap on our own and stuff like that. But if there's other terminology that was like just standard that everybody knew about automatically before, that we have no clue what that is. And especially if we were to go through like old books or documents or something like that, old almanacs or whatever, and they talk about, the dog days of summer, and you're going, what in the world is that? And now some of us in my age group, and Leanna and Dave and, some of us up there, we've heard these things before and we can kind of figure them out, but there's a whole one or two generations below us that have never heard of any of this stuff. So I just thought it would be kind of fun to do that. Leanna, you're going to do a class. So that's great. Wonderful. So your daughter had an asthma attack from the smell of Pert Plus shampoo. You know what? Yeah. Those scents are not healthy for us, that's for sure. Well, you guys, it's 7:00 Central Time. Stivers are coming on. Probably Big Family Homestead is coming on right now, and I'd love for you guys to support them, to go and watch them and be there for them. And I thank you so much for coming and being at my live. I'm so grateful to have all of you here and just having my back and supporting them and everything. I really appreciate it. So you guys take care and God bless. And again, always have hope. We will see you next Monday night. Take care. Bye-bye.